You could give her the world, and she'll still leave without a second thought. You fix her problems, answer every text, show up for her 24/7, and she feels nothing. Not only that, she loses interest faster. Because women don't fall for effort. They fall for something else entirely. And if you don't know what that is, she'll keep using you for comfort and walk away the moment it's convenient. Today, I'll show you why being the good guy isn't just ineffective. It's exactly what's turning her off. And the 5 things she actually wants instead. The things no woman will admit, but every man must understand. So if you've ever found yourself wondering, how could she leave after everything I did for her? You're not alone. Thousands of men are waking up to this truth, and this channel is where they reclaim their emotional power. So pause whatever you're doing. Drop your city in the comments. I want to know where the real ones are watching from. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because what you're about to hear might sting, but it's the very medicine your masculine core needs. Let's get into the 5 things women actually respond to, and why all your effort means nothing without them. Thing number 1, effort doesn't equal desire. You've been taught since childhood that effort is everything. Work hard, show up, be reliable, and eventually you'll be rewarded. It works in school, it works in sports, it even works in business. But when it comes to women, that logic collapses. Because attraction doesn't operate on fairness, it runs on feelings. And the cold truth is this: just because you do a lot for her doesn't mean she feels anything for you. You could text her good morning every day, drive her to work when her car breaks down, remember her favorite coffee, her sister's name, the day her cat died. She might smile, say thank you, but deep down, no emotional spark ignites. Why? Because effort alone doesn't create desire. Desire is irrational. It doesn't respond to lists of good deeds. It responds to emotional gravity. It responds to unpredictability, to presence, to tension. Let's make this real. You meet a girl, you like her, you go all in. Text often, compliment constantly, offer help before she even asks. You think you're building a connection. She thinks, why is he trying so hard? What's he trying to get from me? She doesn't feel drawn in. She feels suspicious, or worse, bored. Now compare that to a man who gives less, but owns more of himself. He shows interest, but not desperation. He's kind, but not available on demand. He has his own schedule, his own momentum. He doesn't try to prove. He just is. And suddenly, she starts thinking about him. Why hasn't he texted yet? What's he up to? Did I say something wrong? Or is he just that centered in his own life? That tension? That uncertainty? That's the breeding ground for desire. Because here's what most men never realize. Women don't fall for the guy who gives the most. They fall for the guy who makes them feel the most. Effort is honorable, but emotion is irresistible. And the more you chase her with good deeds, the more she emotionally flatlines. Because it's not about what you do, it's about what you evoke. So the next time you're tempted to prove your worth through overgiving, stop. Ask yourself, is this coming from grounded confidence or quiet desperation? Because if she senses the second one, she's gone before you even realize it. Thing number 1, effort doesn't equal desire. It equals motion. And motion without impact is noise. Thing number 2, she wants emotional power, not your presence. This one's going to sting. Because you think being there for her, showing up, giving your time, your attention, your energy, proves your value. And on paper, it should. But emotionally, it backfires. Because what she really wants isn't your presence, it's emotional leverage. Let's break that down. You plan her birthday. You drive across town at midnight when she's upset. You send thoughtful messages, pay for dinner, listen to every rant about her coworkers. You think, I'm showing love, but she feels, I have him. It's not the act itself, it's the imbalance of emotional investment behind it. See, women are wired to test your frame. Not because they're cruel, but because they're emotional strategists. They're always sensing, where's the power in this dynamic? And when you give everything, without her earning it, she knows exactly where the power sits. With her. And nothing kills attraction faster than certainty. Women don't want to manage you. They want to feel moved by you. They want tension, curiosity, a little uncertainty, not chaos, but contrast. Because emotional predictability isn't romance. It's routine, and routine gets replaced quickly. Here's what she won't tell you. She wants to feel like she almost has you, but not quite. That she's winning your attention, but could still lose it. That she matters, but not more than your purpose. That her emotional grip on you is fragile. Why? Because that fragility fuels her drive to engage. It keeps her emotionally invested. It makes your presence valuable because it's not guaranteed. Let's flip the script. A man who gives everything, asks for nothing, and orbits her emotions like a satellite, he becomes background noise. But a man who brings emotional depth, holds space, and doesn't chase her validation, he becomes a signal. You're not supposed to be her therapist or her emotional assistant. You're supposed to be a force, a man with edges, a man she can't fully figure out because he's too busy leading himself. That's what creates gravity. That's what makes her feel alive. So if you've been pouring yourself into a woman who never seems to reciprocate, pull back. Watch what happens when the emotional scales start to balance, or even tip in your favor. Suddenly, she starts texting more, leaning in, wondering what's different. It's not magic, it's momentum. Because here's the brutal truth. The man who gives her everything gets taken for granted. The man who gives her a feeling she can't control, he gets remembered. Thing number 2, she doesn't crave your constant presence. She craves the emotional power that comes from not knowing if she fully has you. And the moment she knows she does, she stops caring. Thing number 3, nice guys are her safety net, not her choice. Let's be honest. You've done everything right. You're respectful, supportive, available. She vents to you, leans on you, even tells you how sweet you are. But then she goes and dates the guy who treats her like an afterthought. And you're left wondering, what the hell am I doing wrong? Here's the answer. You're the safety net, not the prize. Women appreciate nice guys. They say things like, he's such a good friend. He's always there for me. But pay close attention. They say those things while texting the guy they actually want. That's the hard pill no one wants to swallow. Because being nice feels like it should be enough. You're stable, reliable, emotionally present. But nice, without edge, is forgettable. Here's what's happening. She's using you for emotional security. You're the soft place to land when things fall apart. You're the ego boost when she's feeling ignored. You're the maybe she keeps around just in case the bad boy doesn't call back. That's not attraction. That's insurance. And it's not her fault. It's yours. Because you made yourself too easy, too predictable, too available. Women aren't drawn to what's safe. They're drawn to what's felt. And niceness, on its own, doesn't move her. It doesn't challenge her. It doesn't create tension. You think you're showing her what a great partner you'd be, but all she sees is a man who will tolerate being second place. And nothing kills desire faster than that. Let's go deeper. The nice guy never pulls back, never sets boundaries, never challenges her emotionally. He agrees with everything, says yes to avoid conflict, and becomes a doormat in the process. And here's the tragic irony. The nice guy doesn't do these things from strength. He does them from fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of being alone. Fear that if he stops pleasing, he'll lose her. But guess what? He never had her in the first place, because women don't respect men who erase themselves to be liked. They use them until something better comes along. Respect is the foundation of desire. And respect is born from boundaries, from self-possession, from the ability to say, "This doesn't work for me," and walk away. So if you've been the guy she calls after midnight, the one who listens to her cry about other men, the one who might have a chance someday, wake up. You're not her secret crush. You're her emotional support animal, and that's not love. That's self-abandonment. Thing number 3, nice guys are her safety net. She falls on you, but she doesn't fall for you, because you didn't make her feel anything real. You just made her feel safe. And safety without attraction is exile. Thing number 4, validation makes you weak in her eyes. Let's be honest, you think if you show her you care enough, she'll finally choose you. You keep telling her how much she means to you. You wait for her reactions. You feel anxious when she doesn't reply. And deep down, you're hoping for one thing: validation. But here's the psychological trap most men don't see. The more you chase emotional reassurance from her, the more she loses attraction for you. Because validation seeking flips the emotional dynamic. It puts her in the position of emotional authority. And you become the one constantly proving you're worthy. She doesn't want to manage your self-esteem. She wants to feel the presence of a man who already knows where he stands. You ever wonder why women pull away when you start showing too much interest? It's not because they hate affection. It's because they feel the emotional imbalance. They feel when your compliments are really fishing hooks. They feel when your support comes with the hidden need to be praised. And nothing turns a woman off faster than a man who's emotionally fragile. Not because she's cold, but because that kind of neediness puts pressure on her to keep you okay. Now let's go deeper. When you constantly ask, "Are we okay?" or you get anxious when she goes quiet, you're communicating that her moods control your value. You're giving her the steering wheel to your emotional state. And once she senses that, her subconscious starts seeing you as replaceable. Because here's how the female brain processes this. If your confidence depends on her behavior, you're not stable. If you're not stable, you can't lead. If you can't lead, she doesn't feel safe or excited. She stops being drawn to you. She starts managing you. And once she feels like your emotional babysitter, game over. Now, contrast that with a man who doesn't need constant validation. He expresses interest, but not for approval. He compliments, but not to be complimented back. He can sit in silence without spiraling. That man feels emotionally full. He's not leaking need. He's not performing. He's just there, grounded, clear, composed. That's what makes him attractive. Women are wired for emotional contrast. They're drawn to men who can hold space, not collapse under pressure. So when you stop over-explaining, when you stop justifying your every feeling, when you stop seeking her reassurance for your worth, she feels it. Thing number 4, validation makes you weak in her eyes. Not because emotions are bad, but because when you hand her the responsibility of making you feel good about yourself, you stop being a man and start becoming a burden. Instead, flip the frame. Let her earn your emotional investment. Reward her behavior. Don't depend on it. Validate yourself first, and she'll start chasing your approval. Thing number 5, mystery beats consistency every time. Let's destroy one of the most damaging lies you've been told. If I just stay consistent, she'll eventually see my value. You keep showing up, texting every morning, making plans, checking in, being the dependable guy, but she doesn't light up. She doesn't lean in. Instead, she gets bored, and you're sitting there, confused, thinking consistency is the key to connection. Here's the truth no one taught you. When it comes to attraction, mystery always beats consistency. Every single time. Not because consistency is bad, but because predictability kills emotional tension. Attraction is built in the emotional space between what she knows about you and what she's still trying to figure out. That's why the guy who's a little harder to read, the one who disappears for a bit, who doesn't explain everything, who texts back when he feels like it, gets inside her head. Why? Because her brain starts working. She starts guessing. She starts feeling. It's Psychology 101. The human mind craves pattern but gets addicted to disruption. When your behavior is too smooth, too predictable, too available, you kill the emotional reward loop. There's no anticipation, no dopamine spike, just comfort. And comfort without emotional pull, that's how women detach. Think about it. You ever binged a TV show you had to finish because the story kept you guessing? But the show that spoon-fed every plot point? You stopped watching halfway through. That's exactly how emotional investment works in dating. The mystery keeps her emotionally engaged. Not confusion, not manipulation, but contrast. She wants to feel like there's more to you than what's on display. That she hasn't cracked your entire code. That something about you is still unfolding. But if you reveal everything in the first few weeks, your feelings, your fears, your full schedule, your every move, there's no suspense, no chase, no emotional gravity, and no gravity, no desire. Here's how to fix it. Stop giving her the whole movie in the trailer. Pull back occasionally. Let silence breathe. Don't over-explain. Don't always reply right away. Be present, but unpredictable. Create space for her mind to wander. Let her wonder what you're thinking. Let her question why you suddenly didn't text good morning. Let her feel the tension of not always knowing what comes next. Because that tension, that's attraction in motion. Thing number 5, mystery beats consistency every time. Not because you're playing games, but because you understand the game her brain plays when she doesn't fully have you. The guy who leaves a gap, a question, a spark, a pause, becomes the one she thinks about. Not the one who's always available, but the one who leaves her emotionally chasing. You've been lied to your whole life. They told you that if you're nice enough, available enough, generous enough, she'll love you. They taught you that consistency is king, that loyalty earns affection, that giving more means getting chosen. But here you are, exhausted, overgiving, and still overlooked. The hard truth is this: women don't fall for what you do for them. They fall for what you trigger in them, emotionally, psychologically, subconsciously. You can pour your heart out, pay for everything, be the most stable man in the room, and still get ghosted, still be the safe option, still be the one she leans on, but never leans into. Because effort without impact is invisible, presence without tension is forgettable, consistency without polarity is comfort, and comfort kills desire. It's not about becoming a jerk, it's about becoming unignorable. That means developing an energy she feels even when you're not texting, a presence that lingers even when you walk away, a strength that doesn't bend to her moods or her tests. You stop being the guy who gives everything and starts being the man who costs something. You become the standard, the prize, the story she can't shake off. That's when things shift. That's when she starts reaching out without you chasing. When she texts first, when she replays your words, when she's emotionally invested, not because you asked her to be, but because you made her feel. You weren't just another guy who showed up. You were the man who stood out. So if you've ever felt invisible, despite doing everything right, this is your wake-up call. Stop performing. Stop explaining. Stop begging to be seen. Start building a version of yourself that doesn't need to be chosen, because he already chose himself. And the moment you make that shift, she feels it. Everyone does. Now listen, if this message hit you hard, it should. Because you're done playing it safe. You're done being the emotional fallback. You're done giving your energy away for free. From this point forward, you move different. You speak less, watch more. You give slower, test deeper, and you never trade your value for validation again. Because the man who owns his presence becomes impossible to forget. Comment below. Never again. If you're done being overlooked and ready to be respected, desired, remembered, And if you're serious about rewiring your mindset and mastering female psychology, subscribe now. Because this channel isn't for men who wait. It's for men who wake up. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, don't chase, don't shrink, don't explain, just become.